Good day. We are the Group 8, so we're going to discuss Chapter 10, Perspective of Strategy. Learning Outcomes. Particularly at the end of this chapter, the students should be able to number 1, understand the strategy perspective model. Number 2, trace the history of strategy from military perspective. Number 3, analyze game theory as a strategy concept. Number 4, differentiate games with sequential moves from games with simultaneous moves. Number 5, apply game strategies in an organization. Number 6, analyze the economics perspective of strategy. And number 7, demonstrate the concept of learning curve in an organization. So, tingnan natin yung figure 10.1, strategy perspective model. Kung ating makikita ay may tatlong arrow kung saan merong game, military, economics. So, makikita natin sa tatlo na ito ay ang tinutukoy nito ay ang strategy. Ang sabi nila, ang business daw ay parang game and military na kung saan mayroong dalawang option. It's either to lose or to win. So, dito iikot yung topic natin about sa perspective strategy. It's about game strategy, military strategy, and economics strategy. Military perspective of strategy. Boardrooms are like battlefields. Doing business or running an organization is like fighting a war where strategies are guns and ammunitions used during engagement. So, pwede natin sabihin na ang management at militarization ay halos magkamuka na kung saan ay nagpo-formulate sila ng specific or detailed strategies para manalo sa laban at kung i-compare naman natin sa business ay para magkaroon ng success and growth ang company. The Art of War. This book is the oldest military classic in Chinese literature, written around 400 to 320 BC. The exact origin of this book has not been established. So, The Art of War is included also in the 7 military classics since ang book na ito ay nag-underwent na sa iba't ibang mga translation. Pero ang nilalaman or ang content ng book na ito ay tungkol pa rin sa mga strategy patungkol sa warfare. Table 10.1, Sancho in a present day. Sancho's writing, on planning. War is a matter of vital importance to the state. It concerns the lives and deaths of people and affects the survival of the means of the state. It needs to be truly studied with careful and detailed planning. One can win with careless and less detailed planning. One cannot win. How much more certain defeat if one does not have plan at all? From the way planning is done beforehand, one can predict victory or defeat. Present day strategy. Doing business is an activity that necessitates planning considering the capitalization infused in any organizational venture. Careful presentations have to be done. There should no room to mediocrity and haphazard groundwork. Through the precise and study planning can make business successful if disregarded or planned slowly. Success will be difficult to attain if at all. So on planning, so where kasi everybody is affected kasi yung kalagayan ng state yung pinag-uusapan dito. So in planning a war, dapat kumpleto at may concrete plan na gagamitin. Kasi ang goal ng empire is to win and not to lose. Kung sino ang may mas effective na plan, sila ang may possibility na manalo sa gera. So in terms of business naman, planning is just like a war. Before mag-enter ng business, syempre dapat merong concrete na plano. Kasi yung success ni business ay nakasalalay kung maganda ba yung ginawa o pinormulate na plano ni management. On the business environment, know your enemy, know yourself, and know the victory not be threatened. Know the terrain, know the weather, and your victory will be complete. In any business venture, organizations should competently know both external, business national and global, and internal knowledge of people, products, services, facilities, and management. Knowledge of the business prepares a company to complete and take the right strategies. So, on on the business environment, sa work kasi dapat alam mo lahat. Dapat alam mo yung kakayahan ng kalaban mo, yung strength and weaknesses niya. Alam mo din dapat kung ano ba yung capabilities mo. Just like in a business, kailangan mo man, alam mo yung internal and external environment na ginagalawan mo. Dapat alam mo yung legal compliance, and when it comes to the operation of business, dapat alam mo yung gusto ni customer kasi customer is the lifeblood of the business. So, yung goods and services na ino-offer mo, dapat ay magkaroon ng satisfaction ang iyong mga customer. Lalo na kapag sila ay nag-avail ng iyong product and services. On measurement, theory gives birth to measurement. Measurement produces the estimation of forces. Estimation of forces give rise to the calculating the number of men. Calculating the number of men gives to weighing. Different weighing gives birth to victory. The need for accuracy in measurement of performance is essential, such as precision of productivity, sales figures, business expenses, and investment in technology, facilities, and others. Unless the company knows its resources, it will find difficult making its moves toward achieving its goals and objective. So when it comes to uh, so on measurement kasi, when it comes to war, as a your opposition empire, dapat alam mo kung ilan ba yung number of men nila, ilan ba yung warriors na lalaban o sasabak doon sa gera para mapaghandaan mo yung specific number ng mga lalabanan mo. So, just like in a measurement, in a business, dapat alam mo yung mga expenses, alam mo kung nagre-raise ba yung capital mo, or nag-expand ba yung uh, nagpa-profit ba yung business mo, or nagkakaroon ka lang ng loss. So, it's important na magkaroon ka ng maayos na measurement kasi when it comes to measurement, dito tayo mag-base at dito natin makikita at kung paano ba tayo magkakaroon ng decision making. So, on competence, general should progress the following strengths: wisdom, knowledge, credibility, strictness, benevolence, courage, skillful, unconcerned by pain, unconcerned by punishment, places army first, tranquil, obscure, upright, self-disciplined, clever with all encompassing talents. Officers and managers should possess the qualities that epitomize expertise, leadership, strong character, good values, and ethical standards. This confluence of traits prosper organizations to attain success. So, when it comes to competence, when pag-usapan ay war, dapat yung leader ay capable to hand over 1,000 of army kasi wise dapat siya at sa isang maling decision niya lamang ay maaari silang matalo. When it comes to business, dapat yung traits na mga ito, yung good values, leadership, expertise, character management skills ay mayroon ang mga employee, especially yung management or yung manager. Bakit? Kasi through the use of these traits ay pwede niyang i-lead ang business into a success.
Table 10.4 Musashi Miyamoto's Water Book in Present-Day Strategy. In strategy, your spiritual bearing must not be any different from normal. One should be determined but calm in fighting and everyday life, meet the situation without tenseness, yet not recklessly. Your spirit settled yet unbiased. Even when your spirit is calm, do not let your body relax, and when your body relax, do not let your body slacken. Be neither under spirit nor over spirit. They are both weak. Do not let the enemy see your spirit. Strategy is an art. In business, one should project an appearance of normalcy, of customary calmness, and control of emotion. His way of looking and dealing with things may be both a little tense to motivate him to action and little relaxed to calm his down. In continuum of mobility, one's spirit bearing should not go to the far end but should be balanced. Most importantly, one should be developed the ability not to show one's reaction when doing business. Never give away oneself by allowing competitors or giving them the opportunity to read one's mind. That is one's strategy. The spirit is always strategy weapon. The essence of the strategy is of the spirit of the business strategy. Ang sinasabi nga dito, ang spirit ng successful strategies ay parang tubig na dumadaloy ng walang hirap. Na-adapt niya rin ang strategies na napapadali ang kanilang gawain. Katulad ng tubig, ang spirit of strategies ay confident, energetic, and fearless. At sinasabi nga rin dito na huwag ka magpapakita ng reaksyon when you're doing a business. At huwag mong hahayaan na mabasa ng iyong competitors ang iyong iniisip. Table 10.5 Musashi Miyamoto's Fire Book in Present-Day Strategy. Examine the environment. Strategizing involves scanning the business environment. It entails awareness of what is happening and knowing the latest developments prevailing internally and externally. It is carefully studying the variables that are significant to one's company. It is planning strategically and aligning its existing realities. It is pursuing strategies for survival and competitiveness. It is adapting to the present paradigm of change. Ang sinasabi dito, kailangan ng matalinong pag-iisip, dapat alam din nila ang tamang paggamit ng strategies na ito. Kailangan ng patuloy ng training para sa kanilang pagkakaroon ng biglaang pagdesisyon. And there is no room for complacency. Preparedness and competence are the rules of the game in the business. Table 10.6 Musashi Miyamoto's Win Book in Present-Day Strategy. In a combat, do not fix your eyes on the details and neglect the important things. Your spirit will become bewildered and victory will escape you. There is a tendency for strategies to be complicated, redundant, and wordy. They end up confusing the deviating from what it should address. Hence, strategies should not be stuck in significant and irrelevant details, such that the essential are overlooked and not appreciated. Eventually, organizational success inadvertently miss out. Ang successful na strategy ay hindi lamang sa isang strategy ang ginagamit ng isang organization and business. Ang paggamit ng dalawang strategy ay dapat alam nila kung paano ito magkakaroon ng magandang effects para sa kanilang business. Table 10.7 Musashi Miyamoto's Void Book in Present-Day Strategy. To attain the way of strategy as a warrior, you must study fully other material arts and not deviate even a little from the way of the warrior. With the spirit settled, accumulate practice day by day and hour by hour. Polish the twofold spirit, heart and mind, and sharpen perception and gaze. When your spirit is not the least crowded, there is the true void. The true strategist is someone who possesses a full comprehension of what strategy is all about. Knowledgeable of other strategies, he is sharp with expertise and know the environment. He has a first-hand data and information and is likewise aware of current and fundamental facts and peripherals. He is both macro and micro in perspective. He sees things objectively and spiritually. His strategy viewpoint is consistent with the true nature of man. Very of deviant behavior, in other words, he strategizes morally and ethically. In him there is no evil but virtue. This is the real essence of a strategist. It can comprehend are things which we can do and see, such the way of the warrior, martial arts. At the same time, void things which we do or see, which he calls spirit, are part of the information which he perceives on a conscious level but with which we have no physical relationship. Game perspective of strategy. Aside from viewing strategy from a military perspective, It can likewise be viewed from the standpoint of playing games. This outlook is based on a mathematical model called game theory. In the early 20th century, mathematicians began to study simple games which graduated to more complex games like chess. Those we had beginnings of, of the so-called game theory. It was John von Neumann, a mathematician who extended this theory to include poker. Game theory even gained prominence with the winnings of John Nash as the 1994 Nobel Memorial Prize in the economics. Game concept and techniques. Game theory is considered and treat all situations of strategy choices as strategies for games. Game theory is essentially linked to neoclassical economics. Their commonality is the concept of rationality. The assumption of neoclassical economics is that human beings are rational when making economic choices. In short, a person makes a decision in the light of aiming to maximize his rewards. So, ang bawat manlalaro dito ay mayroong kani-kanilang strategy para manalo sa isang game na ito. At pinipili nila ang magandang strategies para sa laro para makuha nila ang rewards. Rewards may be in the form of income and returns. Yung rewards, ito yung makukuhang pinaka-payoff nila dahil sila ay nanalo sa isang game. Ang sinasabi nga dito, players have strategies. A game strategy is a plan of action. Ang bawat manlalaro nga ay may kanya-kanyang strategy na gagamitin sa game. Kung ano man ang maging resulta nere ay nakabase sa kanilang naging strategy o sa kanilang planong ginawa sa isang game. Or the outcomes with a different payoff are expressed as expectation if outcomes as random or involve some risk. Game strategies characteristics. First, consider the environment. Second, involves intuitive skills. Third, contains the element of reciprocal fear of surprise attack. And fourth, continuous and not absolute. Games with sequential moves. Sequential moves are steps taken chronologically where an action is consequences of a previous moves. For example, Congressman Rodriguez currently occupies a congressional seat. In the next 3 years, a candidate, Mr. Zulueta, is a potential challenger. In this race, Rodriguez must decide whether to launch a defensive advertising campaign to ensure his congressional seat or not. If one is defect this decision making, there will be different outcomes. Vis-a-vis different combination of moves by both Rodriguez and Zulueta, there will be 4 possible combination of moves. The first, Rodriguez will advertise, Zulueta will enter the race. And next, Rodriguez will advertise and Zulueta will not enter the race. And next, Rodriguez will not advertise but Zulueta will enter the race. And last, Rodriguez will not advertise and Zulueta will not enter the race. If Rodriguez advertise and Zulueta enter the race, his payoff is 1. In short, he is spent with Zulueta challenging him. This is a worse payoff for him. If on other hand, Zulueta does not enter the race, his payoff is 3, because he runs with no one contesting him, thereby increasing his reputation. If Rodriguez does not advertise and Zulueta enter the race, his payoff is 2. Here he has a challenger even if he does not spend on advertisement. Lastly, his best payoff is 4 when he does not advertise and Zulueta does not enter the race. So sa game sequence nga nito, mas pipiliin ni Rodriguez yung huling option niya, yung hindi siya nag-advertise at hindi rin nag-enter the race si Zulueta. And for Zulueta payoffs, if Rodriguez advertise and Zulueta enter the race, Zulueta payoff is 1. This is a worse payoff because he may most likely be defeated and this will irreversibly harm his standing with the public. If Zulueta does not enter the race, his payoff is 3 since he can stay that Rodriguez's advertisement made his campaign doomed to failure. If Rodriguez did not advertise and Silueta enter the race. Silueta payoffs is 4, which is the best payoff. Rodriguez does not advertise and Silueta does not enter the race, then his payoff is 2. Since Silueta people may regard him as someone who was not serious and may not support him in the future. For Silueta payoffs nga, mas pipiliin ni Silueta is yung pang third. Yung hindi siya in-advertise ni Rodriguez at umenter lang siya mag-isa. Mas maganda yun para kay Silueta. Games with simultaneous moves. These are the taken concurrently under condition of incomplete or imperfect information. Here the player must move without knowledge of what their co-players have decided to do. Example of this type of gaming consists of zero-sum games, dominant strategies, and Nash equilibrium. Games with simultaneous moves used to play off table. Pinapakita dito sa table, naglalaro ng paper, rock, scissors si Maureen at si Maxine. Dito, pinapakita nga dito, ang papel matatalo ang bato. At ang bato matatalo ang gunting matatalo ang papel. So, yung laro na to nagpapakita ng simultaneous moves. Makikita nga dito sa may table, kada mananalo si Maureen, natatalo si Maxine. At pag natatalo naman si Maxine, natatalo si Maureen. Or pag nag-tie si Maureen, tie din si Maxine. So, ayun nga, kung ano man ang strategy na magagawa nila sa pag-paper, rock, scissors nila, ito ay tinatawag na dominant strategy.
Economics perspective of strategy. Kung may military and game perspective, meron din economics perspective of strategy. In addition to looking at strategy from military and game perspective, strategy from the angle of economics must be analyzed. Sinasabi na dapat kung mayroong sa military and game perspective, dapat pati daw yung economics dapat i-analyze. Although different strategic situation continually involve you in inevitable barriers of growth and change their durable principles that are applicable to these emerging scenarios, such as can be guide strategics in understanding better how firms compete, thereby providing them basis when making strategic decisions. Perspective, ginaguide niya yung mga strategies para maintindihan palalo kung paano makikipag-compete sa other firms. Tapos, tinutulungan din ito yung mga strategies na gumawa ng decision. Next, vertical boundaries of the firm. The production of any product or operation of any service involves a whole range of activities. It begins with the acquisition of raw materials and ends with distribution and sale of finished goods. In businesses, this is referred as a vertical chain or supply chain management. Vertical chain consists both major and support tasks. Yung vertical boundaries of the firm, ito lang yung pinaka-production ng mga service or kahit yung mga any manufacturer. Dito sinasabi lang kung ano yung mga process na ginagawa nila sa pagbili ng mga materials hanggang sa pag-distribute hanggang sa pagbebenta. So, yun lang yung pinaka point ng vertical boundaries of the firm. Integration. Marami daw advantage to. Yung una, it can expand both the input and output channels of the company without requiring monetary expenditures. Pangalawa, the company can develop the internal capabilities to protect itself against independent input suppliers. On the downside daw, deep integration may not allow for maximum efficiency due to sharing of both internal and external channel process. Shared production may lead to coordination problems, thus the need for strategic alliances. Ito lang naman yung collaboration ng dalawang firm para gumawa ng isang project at magawa ng isang organization. Nag-share sila ng resources, yung mga ganun, or kaya money para makabuo ng isang project. Implicit contract is an alternative for vertical integration daw. An implicit contract is a tacit or unspoken understanding between parties in business or relationship. Implicit contract exists among members of Keiretsu. These contracts are not explicitly drawn, thus they are not enforceable. However, losing future business is susceptible pressure to respect and maintain the implicit contract, most especially if the business runs to big amounts, hence long-term relationships are sustained. Collaborative relationship, para collaborative lang to ng isang firm para nga kamukha nung sa strategic alliances, nag-collaborate sila para sa isang goal or project. Horizontal boundaries of the firm. Aside from vertical boundaries of the firm, there are parameters that consider a company horizontal boundaries. These include two things: the quantity of products produced and service rendered, and the variety of product and services. Of scale and scope, there is a condition that is exhibited when the average cost or the cost per unit of output declines over a range of output. While average cost to declines are output increases, the marginal cost or the last unit produced must be less than over average cost. Yes, there are different modes of achieving economics of scale and scope. Some of these ways are spreading up indivisible fixed costs, increasing productivity of variable costs, carrying fewer inventories, taking advantage of marketing and purchasing economies, and undertaking research and development. Topics is the learning curve. These are highly related to the economics of scales. So, parang sinasabi lang na mas parang magkamukha lang sila ng economic of scales. Dito, economics of scale daw refer to the cost advantage that are derived from producing outputs over a period of time. The measure in learning yield is generally expressed in terms of the progress in ratio. It's calculated by computing how average cost decrease at cumulated output increase in seen in 10.8 figure. Sa table 10.16, makikita dito yung mga cumulative production, average cost, saka progress ratio. Yung cumulative production, meron dito 100, 200, 300, 400, saka 500. Sa average cost, may 200, 150, 150 to 40. Tapos yung progress ratio, nakuha siya no dito. Una, divide yung 150 to 200. Ang lumabas is 1.75. Tapos, 100 to 150 ang lumabas, dinivide siya, tapos ang lumabas is 0.067. Tapos, next is yung 100 dinivide, 50 dinivide sa 100, ang lumabas is 0.50. Tapos, 40 dinivide sa 150, ang lumabas is 0.80. So, ganun kinuha yung progress ratio dito. Tapos, sa baba makikita yung cumulative production. So, ayan, 200 pumunta sa 150, pumunta sa 100, sa 50, hanggang dito sa 50 nga, pababa. Yung madaling salita, yung mga companies is pwedeng i-adapt yung economic perspective of strategy, hindi lang yung military, saka yung games, pwede rin yung economic perspective of strategy. Pwede silang mamili sa vertical and horizontal integration. Depende kung ano yung pinaka gusto nilang ma-achieve sa future. There's different forms of these downstream and upstream activities with the alternative present to them, including their financial capabilities, such strategies can prove advantage of them. So, depende na lang talaga sa kumpanya kung ano yung gusto nila piliin sa dalawa na yan na makakabuti para sa kanila. Yun lamang po at maraming salamat.